Hello everyone, my name is Mutru and I'm going to introduce this video with great pleasure for every Druid fans, especially the people who are playing a balanced Druid. Well, we are all happy about the new patch that went live at Wednesday. This is the patch 6.0.2, which is introducing all the new features that will be added in the Warlords of Draenor expansion. Well, it brought with itself a lot of changes that I'm going to explain right now. Well, let's get down to business right now. First thing that I'm going to be talking about is the change with the Eclipse bar. Well, previously, the Eclipse bar was moving in the direction of the Eclipse by casting 3 of our primary spells, and these were the Star Search, Wrath, and Starfire. Each of them had a certain amount of energy that we're adding to our Eclipse bar. And for instance, if we needed to reach the lunar bar, the lunar peak, we were casting Wrath, and when we were going to reach the solar peak of the solar bar energy, we had to cast the Starfire. Well, right now it's all gone. Well, some of people may be shocked by it, but the Blizzard has implemented a really nice change to it. Well, the Eclipse bar is not moving by these spells anymore. I'm going to show you right now. All you have to do is to remain in combat for the Eclipse bar to be moving. It's amazing, you will see. Like, let's say I will right click this training dummy. And what happens? The Eclipse bar is moving, you see? Right now I have reached the lunar eclipse, and I'm going to be moving along to the solar eclipse, as you can see. Well, this is the amazing change. Well, I think right now we will have to be really cautious about the current eclipse state. This will affect the dots, which I'm going to explain a little bit later. So what do we have to do to remain the Eclipse bar moving? Well, for instance, in raid environment or any PvE scenarios, we're pretty much all the time in combat, so we don't have to worry about it. If our Eclipse bar will stop, no, it won't stop. It will be moving. So as I said, the skills, our primary skills, are not recharging the Eclipse bar. Well, I think this is the biggest change in balanced Druid. Right now I'm using the Shadow Unit Frames Eclipse bar because the other, which I was using before, it was called Balance Power Tracker. I used to had an Eclipse bar over here. Just it's not working properly, so I didn't complain about it and just enabled the Eclipse bar and the Shadow Unit Frames. Well, I think that will be it about the Eclipse bar, and right now we will be moving to the new buffs, which are completely changed, and some of them are just new in the 6.0 patch. So let's get started. Okay, so right now I'm going to talk about the new buffs that we have received, and also the, skill changes that Blizzard have implemented. And the new buffs are going to be amazing for boosting our damage and our rotation. And as you could see, these were the solar peak and the lunar peak. Well, what is it? Well, previously you saw that when I was punching my training dummy, that we have reached both lunar peaks and the solar peaks. These are 5-second buffs that are applying to our character when we are reaching the 100 energy of the eclipse. That happens when we are reaching the 100 energy on the lunar eclipse, and right now we will reach 100 energy while we're in the solar eclipse, and you see the solar peak is appearing. And what is this buff doing? It's boosting our moonfire and the sunfire. It depends in which eclipse state we are right now. It's damaged by 100%, so everyone is happy about it, I'm sure, that we got a certain dot boost. Well, considering the rotation, that it's really calm right now, I'm going to explain you right now the changes that occurred to Star Surge and the Starfall spells. So let's get into it. When it comes to the dots, as you can see, I have only Moonfire spell on my skill bar. Well, why? Because I cannot cast Sunfire right now. Well, you may say why? Because I'm in the lunar eclipse right now. So the only dot I can cast right now is the Moonfire. As you can see, I have reached the lunar eclipse right now. Well, I will boost my eclipse a little bit by Astral Communion. Oh, and I'm in the solar eclipse right now. Boom. Anyhow, you can see how my skill has changed into Sunfire. So right now, all we have to do is to talk about the dot alignment. Well, as I said before, we're receiving big buffs when we're reaching the 100 energy of our eclipse, and this will be the lunar eclipse. This is the moment when we're refreshing our dot, like right now. It has the 100% damage boost. And what about the Sunfire? Well, its damage is really reduced. The duration is really reduced. So we will refresh our dot right now because of the peak. And we'll continue with our rotation. We'll use our boosted wrath stacks. And I think this is the moment to refresh our dot, because when we will get to the solar eclipse, our dot will run out, and this time is like the best time, because when the dot will expire, we will reach the peak of our next solar eclipse, and this will happen like right now. So the moment when we're refreshing our solar Sunfire is in the peak, and when we are leaving the solar eclipse, like right now, I think this is the good dot alignment. If you have any suggestions, just please write them in the comments section down below, or just message me. I will appreciate any comments about our new class. But the biggest change to the Sunfire that I didn't explain is how it affects the other target. Actually, I'm not going to show you right now, but it says that after casting it on our primary target, all enemies within 5 yards will be affected. This is just gorgeous. If you think about it, how I have explained the Starfall, let's say that we're in the peak of our solar eclipse. We have a big AoE fight. What we do is just cast Starfall, Sunfire, and we're doing our good old Hurricane. I think this AoE will be pretty powerful. Well, and that's it for the rotation. The rotation is pretty simple, I have to say. And right now I'm going to talk about the other skill changes that have occurred, and probably the start of our rotation. Because, as you probably know, I'm not in the combat right now, and I cannot do anything with the Eclipse bar. So what do we do when we're pulling a boss in the raid? Of course we do a pre-pot, and what do we do next? We cannot just one precast of the Eclipse like we were using before. So we will use our new skill, or rather a talent. So I think this is the coolest change in the balanced druid, in my favorite class, of course. You can see that Star Search has 3 stacks and Starfall has 3 stacks. Well, how do they work? Well, I think the biggest change to Starfall is that it affects all the enemies around the 40 yards. And the thing is that you have to be really cautious while casting Starfall, because you will pull everything to you. So if you're in a dungeon, you have to just pay attention because you may cause some trouble. Well, previously Starfall had only like 20 or 10 charges, I don't remember exactly, and it was affecting like 3 mobs, so it was like semi-AoE, I will say. It was doing most damage while we were shooting like 3 mobs, and right now is absurd. Well, I'm going to show you right now. As you saw above, the Starfall and the Star Surge are having a 30-second cooldown, so let's see what happens with these training dummies. I will cast Starfall, and you see every one of them is getting shoot. This is the amazing change to our AoE. As you could see, I have casted Starfall and one of our stacks is gone. Also, the Star Search has 2 stacks. So switching between like single target and AoE is really important right now. We have to be really cautious when we are using our Star Search, whether Starfall spells. And the biggest thing that I enjoy the most is what happens when you cast Star Surge. Well, let's see. I'm casting Star Surge right now. I was in the solar eclipse after the cast, and what did I get? The solar empowerment buff. This effect boosts our wrath spells by 30%, and we have the 3 stacks of the wrath for 30 seconds, so we have to use all the wrath spells within 30 seconds. Of course, while we were in the solar eclipse, right? What happens if we are in the lunar eclipse? We have the lunar empowerment, and we have boosted Starfire spells. We have 2 stacks of Starfire. Why? Because of course the Starfire takes longer to cast, and it deals more damage than the Wrath. So in comparison to our new buffs, I have to say that the rotation has completely changed, because right now it's really calm. Previously, all you were doing is to just wait for the shooting stars proc. You were just holding your finger on the Star Search button in a hope of getting as many procs as you can, and you were just like spamming Star Search all the way. Right now, I really enjoy the change. I think the most damaging spell is the Starfire. I'm sorry, the Star Surge. Well, because of the stats, which, as you can see, the damage, like, it's average like 5,000. It's a little bit more than the Starfire. Wrath is pretty low damage, but it casts pretty fast. So I think right now the favorite part of our class will be the dots. So I'm going to show the dot changes right now. Okay, so let's talk about the new skill changes that went live with the patch. I will talk about one of our favorite spells, or rather a talent, which is the Incarnation. This is a huge DPS cooldown. Previously, Incarnation only boosted our damage while we were in an eclipse state. Well, the biggest change with it is that you really don't have to be in the eclipse state to get the buff. You get the 15% damage boost all the times for 30 seconds. So I think the change is really nice, because when you sometimes pressed your cooldowns by mistake, you really lost a big DPS amount. Well, considering our new changes, also the level 90 talents have changed. Heart of the Wild right now doesn't increase our intellect. Well, it only boosts our other class abilities like healing or tanking, rather cat form abilities. Dream of Scenarios has a really nice change as well, considering if we're talking about healing our allies. You remember when I was talking about the Lunar Peaks and the Solar Peaks abilities? Well, you were getting the Solar Peak or the Lunar Peak. The Dream of Scenarios will heal while we're recasting our dots for 8000. I don't think this is a huge change that people will run to get the Dream of Scenarios right now. I was really a big fan of Nature's Visual before, but right now it only helps with the healing, not increasing our, for instance, spell power by like 12%, I believe that was before. So I prefer having Nature's Visual for now because as you know, the changes count for the tanks as well. The tanks are much more vulnerable for the sustainable damage. For instance, if you pull a big amount of mobs, they will have a really tough time surviving it, and as well the healers will really struggle to heal all the things. Our favorite defending spell is the Bark Skin. Well, it gets a little bit of a nerf, only in terms of a cooldown. This is the 1 minute cooldown right now, up from 30 seconds. Before we could just use a Bark Skin on it all times, but I think when there are some parts within the raid that a whole team is taking severe damage, the Bark Skin is always vital to use. The next spells that I'm going to talk about are our buffs. So the Heart of the Wild was getting us the stats, and right now we have a new buff. Oh, actually, I've made a mistake there. That is 30%, not 5. And this buff is called Versatility, and Versatility is increasing our damage and healing them with a certain amount of percent. And also, on the other hand, it decreases the damage taken, so it can be really nice for tanks, for instance. And the other thing is the Moonkin Aura. Where do we have the Moonkin Aura? Right now, the Moonkin Aura gets us the Mastery buff. I don't see the Moonkin Aura here, but you could see on the buffs there. Well, never mind. The changes come from the spell heist. Previously, Moonkin Aura was getting us the spell heist, and right now we have the increased mastery. So I think right now the builds, well, in the future, in the upcoming expansion, the builds with the balanced Druid will be based about mastery, of course. Well, some of them may. On the other hand, critical strike may come in handy as well as previously, because you know, in the pre-patch, default patch, all you need to do as balanced Druid is to get the 50% haste buff, and then everything goes full the critical strike, because you were getting an absurd amount of procs for your Star Surgers. Oh, and the next thing that I'm going to show you are the glyphs. I'm going to talk about 2 new glyphs because they are most that brings That will bring me a lot of fun in the expansion, I'm sure. This is good for the flapping all. So I will flap my wings and it will slow down my falling speed. So this will be similar to Levitate or the slow cast by mage and the priest. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait how the animation would look like. And the next thing is the solstice. Also, this is the cosmetic change. Everyone would like to see the sunfall, don't you? And also the hurricane will be replaced by the astral storm. We could see that before. Right now we just have the hurricane animation. That's it. It's not changing to the astral storm, and it is also not benefiting from any eclipse. And this is the main issue that the balanced druid had. Switching between the huge AoE and then having problems with the eclipse war, because we had a big AoE fight. I don't know, for instance, well, never mind. You found yourself without the Nature's Grace buff. You didn't have any haste boost. And I was just sometimes pressing so much Hurricane or Astral Storm that I just went I went out of mana. And while you weren't in the Eclipse state, your Hurricane or the Astral Storm, it depending on which Eclipse you were doing severely less damage. And right now, it's going to good. Of course, as you can see, I have holes in my skill bars, and I'm going to talk about the skills that have been removed. So let's take a look at them. Okay, so there is one more thing that I have forgotten. Is the change for our mushrooms. Well, previously you had two skills. You had Wild Mushroom and you had Wild Mushroom Bloom. I used to have this button here. So what you were doing is you were planting all the mushrooms in one place, or you were creating a line where you wanted to slow down the enemies, or just deal the damage in the solar eclipse and with big procs. Well, the skill Mushroom Bloom is now gone, and during the fights that some crowd control is really important, or just slowing down the enemy's speed, the mushroom will come in handy right now. They are so neat, because all you need to do is just create a simple line and their effect is working like in an instant way. So let's talk about the skills that are not with us right now. The biggest help for our healers was the Tranquility, and I think the Blizzard did this change for good, because the healers actually were receiving a big help from the balanced druids, and for the other druids as well, like Feral Guardian. This was a big cooldown, but in comparison to the Restoration, it had I believe 7-minute cooldown or 8, so you could use only one Tranquility during the whole fight. But this was a big boost. And as well as we're talking about the defensive skills, this was the Symbiosis. I really enjoy the Symbiosis, for instance from the Death Knights, where we get the anti-magic shell. This spell come in handy for the Siegecrafter Blackfuse fight in the Siege of Orgrimmar raid. You could just cross the fire lines in the way you wanted, and you didn't get the stack of the flames from the rogues. I really enjoyed the Shadow Cloak. This was a good defensive cooldown, which was removing all the effects that produced, or the effects that were type of curse or something like that. And I really enjoyed the taking this Symbiosis from the Warlocks as well for the other defensive skill that was Unending Resolve. This was a huge DPS reduction. And well, the last thing is the Nature's Swiftness. Well, we cannot instant resurrect right now. this came in handy. For instance, I remember in the Siege of Ogre as well, the fog fight. You found yourself in a situation where you just couldn't cast it, but if you used Nature Swiftness, you had it. You had your ally resurrected in an instant way. Oh well, the next thing was the Healing Touch, and it was a pretty nice defensive cooldown. Well, rather an instant heal. It came in handy like in PvP scenarios as well, or any other like situation you wanted. And they're gone right now. I'm sure you have enjoyed my video. I really had fun making it as well, and right now I'm going to make a little rotation. Let's say the star rotation for our new druid, and I will be seeing you guys next time. So we get Star Search to get the Lunar Empowerment. We get our Starfire going. We see the Lunar Peak appearing. We cast our dot. We get the next Lunar Empowerment, and we will squeeze 2 next Starfires, I'm sure. And this is the time for Sunfire. We'll get the Empowered Wrath right now. I think I forgot to use the Celestial Alignment, but that's not important. And we recast our Sunfire. Well, when we're talking about the skills, the Celestial Alignment haven't changed at all. But right now, whether in Lunar Eclipse or the Solar Eclipse, you will get the 2 dot applications from like our Sunfire or Moonfire, and we will see right now like I used the Celestial Alignment, and you see like 50 seconds of Moonfire. That's crazy. As you can see, like the rotation is not complicated at all. Well, Blizzard has said that we are creating our classes that you will be mastering over the time, but for the people who have played the Balanced Druid, I don't think the switch will be so difficult. So I think you have enjoyed my video, and I'll be seeing you guys next time, and take care.